What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. It's the 2018 offseason. Training camp is upon us, and we're excited. Got a lot of stuff going on. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co-host, Stoyo,
What's going on, people?
and co-host, Gavin.
Me.
All right, let's talk about the big news of the week. Rams and star running back Todd Gurley reached an agreement on a 4-year, $60 million deal that includes 45 mil guaranteed, the highest ever guaranteed money for a running back. Um, Gavin, is this worth it? Would you shell out that kind of money for Todd Gurley if you're the Rams?
This is really tough. This is an unheard of amount of money for a running back, especially these days where they're not leaned on as heavily for most teams as other positions, and teams tend to want to spend their cap money in other places. With that being said, I think the Rams know that Todd Gurley is the driving force behind that offense. Jared Goff did play great last year, and they're hoping that that will continue. But I think that if Gurley were not there, Goff would really struggle, especially with a new offensive coordinator this year. So you got to keep your guy here. And Gurley will be 27, 28, I think, when this contract is up. So they're going to be getting him for his prime years and can even extend him for a couple years if he continues to play strongly. He hasn't had any issues with suspensions or off the field issues. He did have one, obviously the injury right before his NFL career. But outside of that, he's a really reliable back that can be used in all situations. So I'm really excited for him. It's a lot of money to spend on a running back, but I think the Rams are poised to win now. And if they can lock up that one other guy that's pretty good on the defensive line, they'll be pretty set.
Yeah. That's the thing about Gurley is that he's still so young. So you can give him this kind of contract and then see what he's like at 27, 28. Um, but I mean, a lot of money to pay a running back. Stoyo, what do you think of this deal?
I think it's a very interesting deal, especially since Gurley has only been in the league for 3 years.
Yeah.
So Rams are kind of taking somewhat of a gamble. I do agree with Gavin that he is the focal point of that offense. And while Goff's stats were pretty impressive in that system, I think a lot of different QBs could have done equally the same. Todd Gurley is a dual threat. He can both run great and receive. And yeah, he is definitely at least a running back that you can call elite for the next 3 to 5 years. So while it is a lot of money, I think it's a interesting contract, and I would be happy if I was a LA Rams fan.
So,
Uh,
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, I was going to say, so speaking of a running back that's great at pass and catch, Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell turned down a 5-year, $70 billion contract, but Ian Rappaport reported that the only guaranteed money was 10 mil. He declined the deal and will play for his 14.5 mil franchise tag in 2018. If this is true, Stoyo, what do you make of the only offering 10 million guaranteed for Le'Veon Bell?
If that's true, that means that the Steelers don't really want to sign a deal with
Yeah.
Le'Veon. They've been like franchise tagging him for the second time, I believe, and to have the option to tag him again next year. And if they offer him less guarantee that the franchise tag, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are undervaluing Le'Veon Bell, and he wants to get paid as an offensive weapon, not just a running back, and I have no problem with that. I believe that the NFL doesn't pay their player enough. It is the highest grossing league and pays their player the least amount, does not fully guarantee contracts. Even if you look at the Todd Gurley deal, yeah, 80 mil is great, but within 24 hours, Kevin Love in the NBA signed a monstrous deal that was 120 guaranteed, fully guaranteed. So, yeah, I'm on the player side. I hope that Le'Veon Bell gets a big deal, gets maybe like 47 million guaranteed. I just don't think it's going to happen in Pittsburgh. And my prediction is that Bell will be traded and will not be a Steeler next season.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. I think if it's true, it's an insult. I think the Steelers are obviously just don't want to pay him, don't want to commit to him long term. Gavin, what do you think of this? I mean, the Steelers must not believe in him, but every time I see him on the field, he's doing something great for that team.
I don't think that it's that they don't believe in him. I will say the 10 million guaranteed. Outside of the one Rappaport tweet, there's nothing else anywhere that mentions that number.
Yeah.
Interviews with Bell's agents, he doesn't bring it up. Rappaport himself doesn't even mention it in other tweets, later tweets revolving around Bell's contract. So while he doesn't ever refute it, that Rappaport that is, it just seems like an obscenely low amount of money, especially when he's already guaranteed to make 14.5 this year with his franchise tag. So unless that's just his signing bonus for the first year, and the rest of the guaranteed money for the other years just isn't listed because we don't have those details. Then yes, if that is true, and it really is only 10 million guaranteed, that's an extremely insulting offer, and I don't think the Steelers franchise is stupid enough to make that move right before a season. If you insult someone like that, they're gonna, they're gonna hold out. Bell's not, someone that's gonna shy away from the controversy of a contract dispute.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just don't see that being the case. I think there's information that we don't have. And so it's hard to say for sure. As far as comparing him and Gurley, there's a couple differences that I see with them. The biggest one being that Bell's already been suspended twice in his career for substance abuse, and one more suspension from that would result in a 1-year suspension for him. So not only is he more than 2 years older than Gurley, he also has had some off-the-field issues that make him a bigger risk than Gurley is as far as that goes so far. And so that could be part of the reason why the Steelers aren't looking to spend big money on him, or aren't willing to sign him to a long-term deal and guaranteeing him that much money. One thing that we do see with these contracts in the NFL is when one guy gets offered a ton of money with tons of guaranteed, it can cripple a franchise depending on who that player is and what ends up happening to them. So they do pay their players less than the NBA and MLB, but you also have to factor in that they have more than twice as many guys than even baseball teams and hockey teams, which are twice as big as NBA teams.
Okay, so how much money do they make though?
Yeah, they definitely make more money, no question. But I mean, when you factor in they have 4 times as many players to pay as the NBA. That's something to look into. They play fewer games, so they sell fewer tickets.
Yeah, but most violent sport, and I think contracts by now in 2018 should be fully guaranteed, especially since we know how CTE affects football players.
Yeah, I'd be all for having better health insurance or something moving forward, rather than fully guaranteeing contracts. If Kirk Cousins doesn't work out, say they signed him for a 7-year, 8-year deal like some quarterbacks sign for $30 million guaranteed per year, and then he falls apart after 2 years. You've got $30 million of your salary cap going towards one guy that is useless. And you're screwed at that point. You've got 6 years of just garbage football, which I wish that upon the Vikings. But For that reason, I think that if they want to do fully guaranteed, they do them like the Cousins deal. They sign them for 3 years. They keep them shorter so that you're not going to hurt your franchise for as long. But then the negatives of that is that you have a chance of losing these franchise players because their contracts are shorter. So I don't think it's as simple as just making all the contracts guaranteed, because just think of all the Bears receivers that you've signed that have been garbage, that you could be stuck with with a lot more cap hit had they had to stick around for that long.
No, this is why you make better contracts, and you just need to come up with a better system. I think that, as I said, football is so violent, and I'm on the player side, and I don't really care much for the ownership.
So Stoyo, let's go along with that. Say the Steelers are planning on trading Bell, or they don't want to commit to him long term. If you're Le'Veon Bell, what do you think the possibility is that Bell sits out some games this season to keep himself healthy or healthier for the 2019 free agency?
For me, at some point, Le'Veon Bell's going to get to a breaking point where he's going to say, I do not want to deal with the Steelers anymore. And the Steelers need to be careful of that. Yeah, he has had some off-the-field issues, but I would argue that Le'Veon Bell is the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, Gurley's coming off a could have been league MVP season, but I'm right there with you. Le'Veon Bell, if not the best, he's very close to it.
To me, he's top 2 with David Johnson. I don't see.
You don't see Gurley?
I don't see Gurley as being a top 3 back right now.
Who's 3 then? You mentioned 2. Who's 3rd?
You're talking about David Johnson's coming off a major injury.
That's true, but okay, call Gurley 3, but to me, he's a tier below. Hey, Gurley has 3 seasons. Anything can happen in 3 seasons.
David Johnson's had 1.
No.
Well,
he's only played 1 full season.
I would say this: if you've seen Gurley play at Georgia and you've seen Gurley play in the NFL this far, I would put Gurley. Gurley is in my opinion, the best, if not second best. Him and Bell are 1 and 2, in my opinion.
Well, Zeke is not even in there.
No.
No.
Zeke. Talk about a guy who's only had last year he got himself into trouble and missed half the year. That's not a running back that I want on my team right now. And we've been talking about it all offseason, how we would take Saquon Barkley over Zeke. So we'll have to see. Gavin, if you were a Steelers fan, are you upset by this? Bell seemingly on the way out? Or is this a good thing where you save your shekels and pay James Conner or pay someone else that isn't as expensive to carry the load at running back?
I would be okay with if they had someone that actually looked promising.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one thing. But they only gave James Conner 32 touches last year.
Yeah.
So that makes me curious. I mean, they have Le'Veon Bell, so why would you put anyone else out there? But I felt like if the Steelers, who knew they had some upcoming contract they have to sign with Le'Veon, and if the off the field issues were a concern with them, that they would want to make sure that they had somebody to pick up the torch after Bell left. But as far as I'm concerned, they don't have anybody right now that fits that bill. They drafted Mason Rudolph in the 3rd round, quarterback, rather than trying to take a running back at that position, which is usually a 2nd, 3rd round. You can get some starting caliber running backs.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, unless James Conner is set to break out this year, they were definitely planning on having Le'Veon Bell on their team moving forward. And as a fan, I would be pretty upset at the thought of a top 3 running back leaving my team and leaving one of the most dynamic offenses in the NFL, because he's definitely a key part to the Steelers' success.
Yeah, they did draft Jalen Samuels with pick 165 out of Louisville, but I mean he's not, I don't think, a feature back. And I say give James Conner some more touches this year. See what he's got. I like his upside. And he's a hometown, played at Pittsburgh University, so we'll
And he's
see.
looking.
What's that?
And James Conner is looking out for our future.
All right, so the Rams also locked down newly acquired wide receiver Brandon Cooks to a 5-year, $81 million deal, 20 mil fully guaranteed at signing. Um, Stoyo, the Rams signing all these weapons to long-term deals while star defensive tackle Aaron Donald is still waiting on his new contract. Are the Rams doing him dirty by paying others before him?
Yes, in my opinion, you just gave Brandon Cooks 50 million guaranteed when he never played for you,
Yeah.
never played down for your team. When Aaron Donald is, in my opinion, the best DT in the league.
Yeah.
If you cannot sign him, which has been weird to me because they've been talking about an extension for about 2 years, and they still can't figure it out. In my
Yeah.
opinion, he is probably as important as Goff.
Well, that brings me to another one. Gavin, let's get on this debate. Who's most important to the success of the LA Rams? Is that Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, or Aaron Donald?
Todd Gurley.
Yeah. I could say Todd Gurley. I mean,
I would pick Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald.
So none of us are saying the quarterback who's got the ball in his hands more than anybody.
Well, especially Goff, because when Sean McVay is doing your reads for you at the line of scrimmage,
That's true. That's a good point.
that's a lot. And to me, Aaron Donald, his lowest amount of sacks from the defensive tackle position is 8. So
Yeah,
his floor in his career is 8.
that's pretty impressive.
For a DT, that does not happen.
Pass rushing DT.
Yeah. So I think that Aaron Donald is really underappreciated, and I'm sure Gavin wish he had him instead of what was that tight end you guys drafted again? Ahead of him?
Pettigrew?
Oh, Eric Ebron.
Oh, Ebron.
Oh,
I just wanted you to say it, Gavin.
Oh, that hurts so bad.
If I'm making a final decision on the importance of success to the LA Rams, I'm saying Todd Gurley all day. Especially going into this year, because Aaron Donald's a beast, but now you put a lot of help with him on that defense.
I just want to remind everyone how great the Miami Dolphins were after they signed dominant pass rushing defensive tackle in Ndamukong Suh.
Donkey Kong?
Oh, yeah, they weren't very good? Oh, yeah, that's because defensive tackle is not high on the list of important positions, and that's why Todd Gurley and Jared Goff are more important to the Rams than Aaron Donald.
Stud running backs have won Super Bowls.
How many stud defensive tackles have won Super Bowls?
A ton.
It's a tough one. I mean, I like the fact that's a great stat that Aaron Donald gets 8 sacks a year. That's impressive for a DT.
Oh, it's huge.
But
Yeah.
I could agree with that though, Gavin, because Gurley and does Aaron Donald impact the line as much as Gurley or Goff impact the game with their hands on the ball all the time? It's a tough one.
Absolutely not.
They're on
It's not even tough. It's an easy Gurley and Goff.
Oh, come on.
All right, well, let's get to something that Gavin's really going to love, and I think Stoyo will like this as well. Stoyo, I texted you last night. I got some more stuff to add to this fire. Boston Globe columnist Dan Shaughnessy brings up the Super Bowl benching of Malcolm Butler, questions to Bill Belichick at training camp. Here's a little bit of the transcript. Dan says, Bill, what happened last year? Bill, last year is last year. Dan, folks want to ask about Malcolm Butler. Belichick, we've talked about that months ago. Dan, any more explanation on why he didn't play? Belichick, I'm focused on training camp. Shaughnessy, the fans want to know more about this. Belichick, I'm focused on the 2018 Patriots. Not 2017, not 2014, not 2007, not 2001. Those years are done. Dan goes on to say, is it important to you to address the Butler situation with your team? Belichick responds, it's important for me to have a good 2018 season. Yeah, it's getting brought back up. And some more stuff here. This reporter head coach exchange is only part of the Patriots 2017 story that still lingers fresh in everyone's mind. Sports Illustrated reports Patriots head coach Bill Belichick texted Jimmy Garoppolo after every win he had as a 49ers starter last season. And we'll give Gavin a chance to respond to those two. Do you make anything of Belichick not addressing the Butler situation? Like, we've never gotten a clear response, and I don't think we ever will, on the benching of Malcolm Butler.
We've never gotten a clear response from Bill Belichick in any interview that we've ever had. So I don't know why we're talking about this. Like, Bill Belichick gives Greg Popovich interview.
Well,
okay.
I would make this argument though. It's the Super Bowl. Super Bowls don't grow on trees, and
they do for Bill Belichick.
Do they though? I mean, 5 is a lot, but 6 is even better as a head coach. He's 5-3 now. 6-2 looks a lot better. I mean, if you're Tom Brady, don't you want 6? I feel like
I don't know how this is relevant. Like, why? How does Bill Belichick talking about something 6 months after it happened have anything to do with their Super Bowl record?
It's not relevant. It's just a story. But the fact that Belichick made a seemingly indefensible move moments before the start of the Super Bowl, without anybody knowing about it, without it being a story going into it, it's just crazy to me.
Why indefensible? This is the greatest coach of all times. Like, if anyone is allowed to make a questionable call, it's Bill Belichick.
Okay, so I can make a questionable call, and then Nick Foles can throw up a 40 spot on me, and I can lose the biggest game of the year?
Okay, if Butler would have played the Super Bowl, would the outcome would have been any different?
Yes. Patriots win. But anyways,
I'm not sure how you know that.
Well, I don't know that. That's my opinion. But
he wasn't even the best cornerback on his team.
Yeah, like, to me, it's not like he benched Darrelle Revis.
All right, but when's the last time we've seen Malcolm Butler play in a Super Bowl? He should have been he should have been Super Bowl MVP. Oh yeah, that's true, Atlanta. But he should have been Super Bowl MVP a couple Super Bowls ago against Seattle. Made the play of the year.
That was like 3 years before.
That's true.
What happened 3 years ago? Yeah, Butler gave him a Super Bowl, but I don't think they lost the Super Bowl because of Butler. I think they lost the Super Bowl because they had a shitty defense. Bill Belichick knew that, and he thought that benching Butler would help the defense, but it didn't.
I don't know how benching...
Maybe it did. Benching Butler might have helped the defense. It might have been worse if Butler had been out there, for all we know. This is all speculation of a 6-month-old story at this point. I don't know why we're talking about it.
If it's me and I'm playing the Super Bowl, I'm going to lose with all of my best players on the field. That's just what I'm saying. Like, if I've got Malcolm Butler in my on my secondary and he can play, he's not hurt, he's healthy, he wants to play, I'm putting him out there. That's just me. Let's move on from that one. I'd like to get a better explanation
Just,
of Bill
just ask one
Belichick,
question.
but we're never gonna get that. Um, let's go to this one. Stoyo, what did you think of the Sports Illustrated? Does Bill Belichick texting Jimmy Garoppolo after 49er wins, does that mean anything?
Yes, it
All right.
means a lot. Unfortunately, since the Garoppolo trade went down, something fishy is going on in New England. Because there is no way that all of a sudden Jimmy Garoppolo is available for 2 second-round picks or 1 second-round pick. And Bill Belichick is the one that reached out to the 49ers and made that trade proposal. So to me,
Yeah.
it's just there was a disagreement. I think that Belichick wanted to get rid of Brady and keep Garoppolo.
And I think that he was given an ultimatum. It's like, we're keeping Brady. And I don't know. Why, Gavin, what's your thinking on why the Patriots moved Garoppolo and for seemingly a cheaper price?
I'm not sure. Obviously I don't know why.
Yeah.
But if I had to speculate, I would say if you look at where they moved him to obviously out of the conference, other side of the country, and to a franchise that had been struggling and with a first-time GM. And so it could be that they thought this is a place where they could send him and would have a less likely of a chance of running into him in the playoffs than they would had they sent him to someone in the AFC or to a franchise that had a good front office and had a GM that was seasoned, something along those lines.
Yeah.
That definitely could be some of it. I think if the stories are true about Belichick texting Garoppolo, I think that it just points to the fact that Belichick was really excited about the prospect of Jimmy Garoppolo and having him be his starting quarterback in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as why they sent him to San Francisco, that's just my speculation as to why they sent him there versus another town.
Yeah, and delving into what's trying to understand the Patriots and the way they do things, you're just gonna go in circles, and we're never gonna figure it out. So it's kind of frustrating, but they're fun to watch and they're fun to root against. Um, let's switch gears and talk about a longtime shutdown corner, Darrelle Revis, calling it a career after 11 years in the NFL with the Jets, Bucks, Patriots, and then briefly in Kansas City. Revis would appear in 145 career games, starting 142 of them. He finishes his career with 29 picks, 140 passes defensed, and 497 career tackles. Hall of Fame career, one of the best corners to play. Stoyo, what do you make of Revis' career?
Very impressive. He's probably the best cornerback I've ever seen play.
Yeah.
I went to the Patriots training camp a few years ago when he was on the team, and I was just impressed that nothing was completed that day. Even a certain 12 throwing the ball at him was difficult. So
Well,
I was just really impressed by that, seeing him in person. But overall, yeah, he was just fun to watch. It's not often that you can just leave a cornerback on his island by himself, but he made Jets game fun to watch
yeah.
when they were struggling.
Yeah, I'll always remember, Revis and that Rex Ryan defense. That was a fun defense to watch. Gavin, what do you remember most about Revis' career?
One thing I remember most about Revis' career is not in his favor, but that's just because I love Randy Moss. But he's definitely one of the best cornerbacks to play in our generation. One of the few guys over the last decade that was truly a shutdown, put him on an island cornerback, no matter who he was playing against. So a lot of respect to him, and it's a shame that the cornerbacks, we see this very often. We saw it with Nnamdi Asomugha as well. Just a dominant shutdown defender, and then all of a sudden they lose that step and it's gone.
Yep. I'll always remember, for some reason this sticks out. I was watching, it was like opening week, and I think it was Cowboys-Jets on Sunday Night Football. And it was a great game, and Romo had a chance with like the clock winding down. The Cowboys were down, about to go drive and try to win the game, and he throws a pick six to Revis and just ends the game. Revis was always lurking for that pick six and always making big plays at the right time. New Orleans Saints are signing former Patriots and Giants running back Shane Vereen. Could be a good fit with Drew Brees. They've already got Kamara and Ingram and those boys, so good, another option there. Stoyo, what do you make the Giants agree to terms with second overall draft pick Saquon Barkley? 4-year, $31 million deal. Big money for the rookie running back, yet to play it down in the NFL. Worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you drafted him second overall, you have to pay him.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking they should have drafted a QB, especially since Baker went number one. But if you believe that Saquon is the future, which they do, then you have to pay him. And I'm very excited to see that offense. I would enjoy seeing Eli have one more shot at winning a Super Bowl. I think it'd be really interesting if somehow he gets the third one and old Peyton just has two.
Maybe Peyton will come out of retirement then. What do you think, Gavin, of the money that Saquon Barkley is getting?
Yeah, it's another fully guaranteed deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely interesting. But if you think that a running back is that good, $8 million a year is pretty cheap. And if you take a running back second overall, you have to think that he's a amazing athlete. You look at guys who've been taking the top 10 recently. It's guys like Zeke Elliott, Todd Gurley, and now Saquon Barkley, and all those guys leading into the draft were real blue chip prospects at the position. So they'll be able to run him quite a bit over the first 4 years and maybe sign him for a few more. So a good move by the Giants, who seem to be looking to win. They don't look to be in a rebuilding mode right now.
Yeah, speaking of that, the Giants also signed veteran pass rusher Connor Barwin to a 2-year, $5 million deal. And I'm going to go ahead and go on record here. I see the Giants making the playoffs in 2018. I think the division has gotten a little weaker in Dallas and with the Redskins. And I'm on board with the Giants. I like the weapons they got. On top of that, the defense, Landon Collins, Damon Snacks Harrison. I'm going to call it the Ben McAdoo factor. You get that guy out of town and anything's possible.
You get a Michigan-born head coach in Pat Schumer.
Yeah.
A lot of things can go right.
Yeah, Schumer could be a good fit there. I'm looking forward to watching some Giant football this year. The Cardinals GM, Steve Keim, suspended 5 games and fined $200K for pleading guilty to extreme DUI. Not a good look there for the Cardinals. In a related instance, in 2016, Cardinals wide receiver Michael Floyd was arrested for extreme DUI and was released from the team. My question is, Stoyo, what's the difference?
One is probably closer to the owner than the other was.
Yeah, it's true. Is that a double standard in your opinion?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To me, if you're an executive and you get a DUI, you should probably be fired.
Yeah.
I don't think he has done that great of a job since he's been general manager. I don't think the Cardinals have won that much. He probably has a few playoff appearances, but as the GM, you're supposed to set the standard for your team.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get an extreme DUI, there's not much you can expect from your players after that.
Yeah, I would say that management needs to set the example for the players. And if you're an owner and you got, GMs, you're worried about your players. You're always looking at your phone, waiting for it to blow up, hoping that a player's not going to get in trouble. And then when you got your general manager going out there getting an extreme DUI, doesn't look great. Gavin, what do you make of this? Do you think this is a double standard, or what do you think?
Yeah, I do think it is a double standard. If they truly cut Michael Floyd just for his off the field issues, but I would argue that Michael Floyd was cut not just because of that, but because he was underproducing
Yeah.
quite a bit, and they had some younger talent that was looking promising that they were wanting to make room for, and so that's why they would cut Michael Floyd. And I would argue against Stoyo and say that Keim actually has done a relatively good job as being a GM of the Cardinals. He was responsible for bringing in Carson Palmer. He drafted John Brown, who's looked promising, just hasn't been able to stay healthy at wide receiver. He was part of he drafted David Johnson. He was responsible for the trade that brought, I can't remember his name, the defensive end linebacker
Chandler.
from the Patriots,
Yep.
Chandler Jones. So these are all great moves by a GM. And so I personally think that that's part of the reason why he's not being let go, is because while I can't say he's done an amazing job, I think he's done a good job overall. And it's hard to let that go. We all know how a bad GM can really screw over a franchise. We all know it all too well.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, Evan. To me, you mentioned a couple decent moves, but Carson Palmer had like 2 winning seasons in Arizona, and I don't think he had a playoff victory on that. Like, to me, I know you're a Lions fan, and we understand success differently, but to me, that is not a successful move. And also, having a .19, which is like 3 times the limit, or twice.
Mm-hmm.
2 something is bad. Like, to me, executives need to be held to a higher level than regular players. And pretty much your GM is like running your entire organization on a daily basis. For me, I don't.
Yeah.
But I guess
I
people
believe
have different views.
I believe Carson Palmer has one playoff win. I think that he was the quarterback when they beat the Packers in a shootout, where Aaron Rodgers fumbled at the end of the game. I think it was like a 51-45 Cardinals win over the Packers. Pretty sure that was Carson Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, when you hadn't had a good quarterback since Kurt Warner left, I'd say that bringing Carson Palmer was a pretty good move, because he also got him for dirt cheap, and he did have a win. You're right, against Green Bay in 2015. So to win against the Packers, definitely.
We'll take it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this: what is a fireable offense for a GM? Since apparently getting busted with a .19 alcohol blood level is not enough.
Sorry, I'm not trying to say that what he did was not fireable. I'm just saying this is why he didn't get fired.
A fireable.
It's all about the money, and if you're doing a good job and something off the field happens, they're going to keep you. We see this happen with players. Michael Floyd, he wasn't playing well. When he got the last year he played in Arizona, he had not even 900 yards for a first-round pick. When you have Larry Fitzgerald on the other side, and you've got John Brown nipping at your heels, who's getting paid a lot less than you, we're going to let you go. When you've seen lethargy out of the guy for the last 4 years, you're not going to hold on to that guy. You're going to let him go when he screws up off the field.
Yeah, and he had high expectations coming in. So when you're
absolutely
underperforming, I could see that. I would say a fireable offense for a GM would be hiring Mark Trestman, but I digress.
I don't know. It is beyond weird that players get suspended certain amount of games for smoking weed, and then an executive gets pulled over with an extreme
Extreme.
DUI,
Yeah.
and the 5-week suspensions, I don't think it's enough. He should get fined, like, I don't know, more money, and would have to do, like, community service hours or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to me, just being suspended for 5 games is not really, it doesn't really fit the crime.
Yeah. We'll see if he can bounce back from it. Hopefully it's a one-time deal. Cowboys DN Randy Gregory conditionally reinstated from suspension that kept him out the entire 2017 season for substance abuse. Good to see Randy Gregory getting back, and the Cowboys could definitely use him. Should be a good addition to that line for the Cowboys, Gavin.
Yeah, definitely. He was a risk when he got drafted. He had some, off the field substance abuse issues going into the draft, which is why he only went in the second round rather than the first. But the Cowboys knew that, and they took a shot at him. And hopefully he can keep his nose clean and be a productive member of their team.
Mm-hmm. Eagles running back Darren Sproles announces 2018 will be his last season. 13-year career and over 19,000 all-purpose yards, including return yards, and 61 career touchdowns so far. Pretty impressive career for that guy. Wouldn't you say, Stoya?
I'm a huge fan of Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
Has highlights after highlights. I really liked him on the Saints when I was not a huge Saints fan, but I really enjoyed the old Speedy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully Terry Cohen can kind of have a similar career.
Yeah, I always remember Darren Sproles on the Chargers, tearing up the Colts defense in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, we mentioned this guy a little earlier. The famous Ben McAdoo is back in the news. Former Giants head coach Ben McAdoo says he believes the Giants will win the division in 2018, and he likes the decision to not draft a quarterback and stick with veteran Eli Manning. Maybe somewhere along the lines he forgot about his decision last year to end Eli's consecutive start streak and bench him in favor of Geno Smith. Um, what do you think about Ben McAdoo, Gavin?
Yeah, I think there must have been something personal last year to have him bench Eli for Geno, because I think he was the only person that thought that was a good idea in the entire world. Anyone seen Geno Smith play knew that he wasn't nearly as good as two-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Ben McAdoo's what an idiot.
Take
I
your
miss his hair. How about that?
Yeah, take your haircut and go home, Ben. All right. Stoyo, Bills star running back LaShawn McCoy under investigation from the league in connection to a home invasion and accused of domestic violence. McCoy has denied all charges, and hopefully this will not derail his career. Hopefully he didn't do it. What do you make of the LaShawn McCoy incident?
It does not look good for him.
Yeah.
It's bad. I mean, it sounds like he did it. I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't there, but the accusations are rough. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Hey, football players, don't beat up your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going on in there. If you want to fight someone, go fight a DT. Go fight a linebacker on your team. If you want to fight, someone's going to fight you. Just don't pick on your wife or girlfriend or anyone else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know all the stories on this case, but I don't know if he did it or he hired someone to do it, or I don't know what's going on with it, but all I know is he's a great running back, and I hope he didn't do it, and I hope he can stay in the league a little bit longer. What do you think, Gavin?
Yeah, I really don't want to speculate at this point just because it's still under investigation. There's a lot that we don't know. I mean, kind of frustrating how, I'm not saying that he did it or didn't do it, but at this point, we don't know what happened. And so I think it's unfortunate that this distraction is going to come into the Bills camp with a new quarterback, and now their best player is going to be under investigation, and they're just constantly wondering if he's going to be on the team. It'll definitely be a huge blow to the Bills if he is gone, and if he did it, then take him out of the league. I mean, there's no place for that in the league.
Yeah, every year we seem to have one of these investigations shadowing the league, shadowing one of the stars. Last year it was Zeke, now we got LaShawn McCoy. So we'll see what happens going forward there. Seahawks star safety Earl Thomas, last of the Legion of Boom, left in Seattle. He posts on Instagram he wants either a contract extension or to be traded. Thomas reportedly reached out to Raiders owner Mark Davis about playing in Oakland. Dallas has to be on the radar as well. And people in Seattle say they consider him the centerpiece of their defense and are going to do everything they can to keep him home. Gavin, what do you make of the Earl Thomas? Do you think he should just get out of there, or do you think Seattle should keep him?
Seattle should try and keep him. I think they can. They're trying to rebuild their defense, but it doesn't mean they need to get rid of every single quality player that's on that team.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the best safeties in the league. So if you can retain him, it's definitely the best interest of Seattle to do that if he's still truly interested in playing there. However, if he's wanting to get out of there, he's been fortunate enough to be on great defensive teams for the majority of his career. And so maybe he's just frustrated with the situation that he's dealing with now, not being on a quality defensive team anymore, or what we can assume would not be a quality defensive team. So maybe that's why he's wanting out. Maybe he's tired with the rain. We're not sure. But if he's willing to play and put forth, and commit to the team, if I were a Seattle fan, I would want Earl Thomas on my team still.
Yeah, Stoyo, let's say that Earl Thomas does want out. Where would be a good fit for him? You think Dallas, Oakland, somewhere else?
I would take him in Chicago with open arms.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
even drive him from Seattle to Chicago. I think this is one of the best safeties out there. I think he's also outplayed his contract, and he probably does deserve an extension. It's just going to be really tough to get.
Yeah.
He has played most of his career along some great defensive players and probably like 3 Pro Bowlers around him.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how good he is by himself, because when you're playing with Sherman and Cam Chancellor, to make your life a lot easier as well.
Absolutely.
So let's see if he can keep it together, pretty much blocking the safeties spot by himself. So for me, my guess is he's probably going to be back in Seattle. I believe he has 1 year left on his contract, and he's just going to play this rest of the year in Seattle, and he will be a Cowboy next season.
Yeah, that sounds like the most likely scenario, and we'll see if he ends up with a star on his helmet. Star running back DeMarco Murray announces retirement from the NFL after a 7-year career at the age of 30. Murray recorded over 9,000 all-purpose yards, including 55 career touchdowns and 3 Pro Bowl selections. Murray did visit with the Lions, Dolphins, Saints, and Seahawks before deciding to retire. Gavin, do we expect DeMarco back on the field this season at some point? And are you upset he didn't sign with the Lions?
Definitely not upset that he didn't sign with us. We drafted a running back relatively early this year. We've got LeGarrette Blount and still have Amir Abdullah. So I don't think we need to crowd the backfield anymore, especially with a guy that is used to being the bell cow that is not bell cow worthy anymore. So definitely glad he's not on the Lions. As far as him being on a team sometime, I definitely think it's possible. Someone's going to get injured. Le'Veon Bell is going to get traded, and someone's going to be looking for a new starting or complementary running back. And being 30, I think he still probably has another year or two left in the tank as a reserve.
Yeah, I hope he gets back out on there. A little bit of an unexpected retirement.
Because no one wanted to sign him.
I don't know, like, if you retire with, like, 9,000 yards, shouldn't you try to get to, like, 10K?
You would think so, but I
I
mean,
know Forte was super close to 10,000 rushing yards, and he just stopped.
yeah,
It'd probably take him like 3 years, though.
no.
No. Okay, Amir Abdullah, let's see how long he's going to take you.
Well, I'm not saying he's getting to 10,000 yards. I'm just saying I'd rather have Amir Abdullah on my team than DeMarco Murray.
I think we should.
I would say no.
I think we should pick up Javid Best.
You want DeMarco Murray, who behind Tennessee's line with Marcus Mariota at cornerback averaged less than 4 yards a carry, 3.6 in fact.
Yeah, that's a great line in Tennessee.
Yeah, and he still couldn't get 4 yards a carry. This is what I'm talking about. He's not the running back that he was before.
Probably not, but I wouldn't say that Amir Abdullah is a great running back right now either.
No, but he's got more promise for a future than DeMarco Murray does.
Yeah, and he's got those young legs still.
They're made of glass, but
I'll say no. I'll say there is a reason why the Lions fell.
I missed that.
Yeah.
At some point, someone needs to rush for 100 yards in Detroit, right?
No, they can continue to not do that.
It's like 58 games. Is it 60 yet?
I don't know. We'll just keep torching the Chicago secondary. It's all right.
We got to get a win against Detroit this year, man. I'm tired of this.
I'm loving it.
Our secondary was okay last year, and we're like, you know what? Let's pay everybody twice what they deserve. And now we have the same secondary, but we paid them a lot more than we did last season. And last season, we had a franchise low 8 picks. You know why we had the year before? Another franchise low 8 picks.
Good stuff.
And 3 years ago, it was another one.
Where's
3 years in a row, we had the bottom in the league. The lowest picks in the last 3 years were from the Chicago Bears.
All I gotta say is look out for future star Eddie Jackson. This is his breakout year. Former Dolphins and Raiders head coach Tony Sparano passes away at the age of 56 due to heart disease. Tony was a longtime offensive line and tight end coach as well as an OC, and he was currently the Vikings O-line coach. So rest in peace to great coach Tony Sparano.
I was a big fan of his because I thought his name was Tony Soprano.
He wasn't bad. He had some success in the league for sure. All right, tell me what you guys think of this. CBS sports writer Pete Prisco predicts every game of the upcoming 2018 season and has the Packers defeating the Jaguars in the Super Bowl. Do you agree?
Nonsense.
No chance.
Notable predictions of his: he has the Lions going 7-9. He has the Bears going 4-12. He has the Seahawks going 5-11. Chargers 11-5. Jags 13-3, and Browns 5-11. We'll be better than 4-12. I'll put that down right now.
I fucking hope so.
No, we're going at least 8-8.
I don't know. For me,
And the Lions are going to be.
really quickly.
Lions are taking a step back this year. It's been waiting. It's been too long.
I don't think like, week 3 we'll know if the Bears are any good.
Yeah. Yeah, if we can get to 1-2.
I don't think that's the Jaguars get 13 wins this year. I think last year played out perfectly for them.
Mm-hmm.
No Andrew Luck, no Deshaun Watson, and a struggling Tennessee team that still almost made the playoffs despite. So I don't think that the Jaguars. I don't think they win their division next year.
I would have bought it, but the Jags ended up re-signing Blake Bortles.
In Blake they trust.
I just can't believe that they're betting their championship window on Blake fucking Bortles.
Yeah, well, I don't want to hear you guys say this to Jags defensive end Malik Jackson, who predicts the Jacksonville's 2018 season. Quote, I think we're going 16-0. I'm calling it. 16-0. I don't think anyone can beat us as long as we stay healthy and do what we're supposed to do. We're going 16-0. We're going all the way. End quote.
Oh, you mean the thing that no team can ever do in a single year ever is stay healthy and do everything right?
Yep.
Well, okay, yeah. If every team did that, then there goes just a bunch of ties.
So you don't see 16-0, Jags?
Maybe on Madden.
Yeah, we'll have to see. What do you think? All right, who's winning the NFC North?
Packers.
No, not the
Don't make me do
Packers.
this. Fuck. I want to say Packers, unfortunately, but no, Minnesota probably.
Yeah, Minnesota. As long as Rodgers is healthy, they're going to be in it. But Minnesota's got the most complete team. Offense, defense, special teams, I would say.
On paper, Minnesota should be one of the best teams.
So if you're going, Gavin, if you're saying Green Bay, where's Detroit finishing in there? 2 or 3 or 4?
Third.
Third? And no playoffs?
No.
Damn. Probably no playoffs for us either. I'm hoping that we get 500. That's what I want. That would be the next step in the right direction. I want third. I'm tired of the basement.
Man, I just don't want to get swept again in the North.
Yeah.
And if those are our goals, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm very scared because Trubisky could be good and should be good, but then at the end of the day, Ryan Pace drafted him, so that's the same guy that signed Mike Glennon to a ridiculous deal. Can you believe that Mike Glennon gets 18 guaranteed and Le'Veon Bell can't even get close to that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because he doesn't play quarterback.
Yeah, but he is an effective one.
I would be willing. I'd be willing to bet that Le'Veon Bell would be a better quarterback than Mike Glennon.
I can believe that.
But that's gonna just about do it, I think, for this week's podcast. Next time we do us three, we should do a season prediction where we predict who wins and records and division winners, all that. So looking forward to that. We'll have some more interviews coming your way. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like, or leave a comment. And have a great week. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Peace out.